Hi everybody. On today's video, I'm going to be repairing another piece of damage in the windshield that we had done previously. Before, I had used Permatex windshield repair to repair a bullseye that I had in the windshield. And so far the repair has been holding up great. But I wanted to try a different brand. So this time we're going to be using the Rainx windshield repair kit. This type of damage is not called a bullseye, it's called a star. Hence the legs coming out from the impact point, which I'm not sure the camera can really see. But the reason that I got this was a rock flew up off the highway and hit the windshield. Now, one advantage to using the Rainx windshield repair kit is that you can use it multiple times. Whereas the Permatex only is a single-use kit. There's only enough resin in there to repair the damaged area, and then the kit's done. With the Rainx, you can use the kit as many times as you have material left to actually fix the crack, or the bullseye, or the star in this case. All right, so the first thing that I've done is I have taken the assembly here, and it's got 4 suction cups. I placed this directly over the center of the impact place. Now, I don't know if you could tell on camera, but there's actually 2 small impact points, and I'm going to be doing the first impact point there, and then after we're done, I'm going to move this over and get the second impact point. Let me show you what it looks like from inside the car. All right, looking inside the car, I am over the first impact point, and then there's another tiny little impact point there. This star is kind of unique in that it is almost a double star. Next, I'm going to cut the tip of the resin bottle off, and I'm going to put 3 to 6 drops as per the directions inside the resin chamber. Because of the size of the star, I'm putting 6 drops. Then I'm going to take the centerpiece and screw it into the chamber all the way down. Alright, I know that it's very hard to see, but after pressurizing the resin in the chamber, it is starting to fill in the legs of the star. Now, it's not doing anything on this side yet. I actually had to reposition the suction cup over to this one because the other one wasn't filling up. Alright, so this has been on here almost 10 minutes. I'm going to have to say, so far, even though that this is a star brake, like I said before, star brake is harder to fix than a bullseye. And I like this design better. This is a cheap plastic imitation of a professional system. This whole assembly would be machined aluminum with industrial suction cups. But the principle is the same, except for one fact. This system does not allow you to pull a vacuum on the surface you're working on. The other Permatex one did. Even given the results, I don't think are quite as good as the Permatex. I do like the fact this is reusable. If you've got multiple damaged places in your windshield, this would be good. And in all fairness, this would probably work better on the type of damage that we had before, which is called a bullseye. Bullseyes are the easiest to fix. Stars and cracks are the hardest. But I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a shot, if I can, from inside, and then we'll go ahead and do the last step, which is to put the mylar tabs on and let this sit out in the sun to cure. Alright, so depending on the angle that you look at this, keep in mind that the crack, the bullseye, or the star, you're still going to be able to see it. This is not really a cosmetic repair. This is more for a structural repair. So think of a piece of glass. It's a piece of glass on the outside, plastic in the middle, and another piece of glass on the inside. That's how That's the reason you can't feel this, because it's the outside crack in the outside layer. But what it does is basically, and this is very evident on a crack, it'll look like a piece of Christmas tree tinsel stuck in there. So the legs that you're seeing, depending on which way I hold the camera, you'll still be able to see them. But as you can see right there on that very tip, most of the crack has been filled in. There's a little tiny place just over right there. It's not filled in. And again, it's almost impossible to film. But I'll show you the other side if I can find it, the bullseye. Okay, there's where the bullseye was. You can still see the impact point, and it's still visible. It is not as visible, but the point of filling that in is so that it doesn't crack across the windshield, which it won't. But you would be hard pressed to see it. This one is going to be more visible when we get done with it, but hopefully the legs here on these sides especially has filled in so that it won't crack all the way out. So let me go ahead and get the plastic Mylar tab on there, and we'll roll it out in the sunshine. Alright, so next step is I'm going to remove the pressure off of this. I'm going to take the two suction cups on each side off. You're going to get some resin come down like that. I'm going to take some of our resin, let it drip down like that, put the plastic Mylar tab over, and then I'm going to roll this into the sunshine and let this cure. This is ultravioletly cured. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the Mylar strip, remove it, and then I'm going to take a razor blade and scrape off all of the cured resin. Alright, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to only give this a 5. Depending on which way you look at the refraction, that's what you're actually seeing. That dark space right there in the crack, you have to really look at it at a 90-degree angle. There's a little bit, you can see that little bit of dark area right there. Now the outer legs over here, those filled in pretty good. You know, the resin that they use in the Rainx and the Permatex is probably the same. It's nearly the same as what I used to use when I do this professionally. The difference, I think, and I'm only going to recommend the Rainx if you have multiple places in a single windshield. If you don't, I would say go with the Permatex, because I like the fact that you can vacuum out the air that gets trapped in there. So while this probably is not the most fair comparison, it's definitely easier to do a bullseye. I am going to say that, as I said before, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. It's definitely not going to crack anymore, and that's the whole purpose of doing this. And it does look different because I have the paper so the camera will focus, but it's definitely not as noticeable as it was before. And again, this is not supposed to be for cosmetics. This is to keep this from cracking so I don't have to replace my windshield. But I'm going to say if you've got a single place in your windshield, go for the Permatex. If you've got a windshield that has multiple damage, go for the Rainx. And again, your results will vary. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this is going to make you think about fixing your windshield instead of letting somebody else do it, this would have cost about $50 to $60 to have a windshield company do. The same thing with my bullseye right there. The bullseye is harder to find. There it is. That would have cost about $50 to have done. You can do this yourself, and the bottom line is it prevents you or keeps you from having to go out and buy another windshield, because if it starts cracking in most states, you can get a ticket for that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have a suggestion for other types of reviews, leave them in the comments below. Please subscribe and rate the video, and I will see you in the next video.